I believe we're being recorded. All righty. And I have my good friend here, Randy, and I want him to kind of tell me a little bit about himself. But first, I just want to start off in a quick word of just prayer. Dear God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the hour that we have. We just thank you for being who you are and allowing us to have breath today, Lord Jesus. Thank you. In your name, I pray. All right, and Randy, if you don't mind, tell us who you are.
I am Randy Schraier. I work for the United Way and run a service called IDD Help, which is the Intellectual Developmental Disability Helpline for individuals with intellectual disabilities and their families.
All right, and tell me a little bit about you personally.
Okay. Any specifics you want to know, or just kind of a background of myself?
A little background of yourself. What makes you a little unique? Well, you're unique to me anyway because you're my friend, but what makes you unique?
Oh, okay. All right. I'm in my, am almost, close to 40 years old, and all my life I've had to live with physical limitations, such as being legally blind and having a prosthesis, which all stems from a childhood illness I had before I was 2 years old. I'm a graduate of Bradley University with my degree in social work, and for the last 10 to 15 years, I have been working with adult individuals, with seniors and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So that's kind of like my background.
And thank you. And what is your passion?
I am really mostly about helping individuals achieve their highest potential. Someday my dream would be to move to Washington, D.C. and work in public policy and do some legislation and advocate for disability rights on Capitol Hill and policies and better services for people with disabilities.
Yes, and this is why you're my friend. I love your advocacy for those with, I always call them special abilities because it's not a limitation, it's just a different way of getting around and doing things. And I just have to let you know you empower me and encourage me so much. Even with my ministry, you still empower me and encourage me even to this day. Different connections that you put me in place with. So I always have to let you know that. But just as far as you personally, what has been one of the biggest eye-opening moments in your career?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I did cut out.
Oh, you're fine. And what has been one of the biggest eye-opening moments in your career?
Eye-opening moments?
Eye-opening.
It's a hard question. That's a good question. I'm just trying to think of a good answer. I think it's mostly been learning to live independently and being able to do what it is you want to do without having your disabilities get in your way. The hardest thing is being legally blind, not able to see and do a lot of the activities that I would like to be able to do. But it's all about how you adapt to it and how you react to different situations, especially right now with the virus going on. It's so hard to do a lot of the activities that you like to do and want to do and, get out and do things. But it's tough, especially right now, but you have to make the best of the situation.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the biggest things with people who have, I call it abilities, different abilities right now, just trying to overcome. And one of the biggest reasons why I wanted you on today is because just our connection and how you put me in place with different agencies and different people as well. I want to know a little bit about how you can, again, with me, and those who, everybody should be familiar with me at this point, but those who don't know me, my ministry is Perfectly Planned Life Ministries. My name is Juanita. And as far as, what I do is empower moms and those are those that are caregivers of those with different abilities, especially those on autism spectrum. and want to know a few agencies that you might be able to suggest. Tell me a little about what you do as far as connections as well. A lot of questions there.
Okay, so you mean a little bit about how I connect with different people with different organizations?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So IDD Help was established in 2018 when the Senate Bill 40 boards, which is the Productive Living Board in St. Louis County, Developmental Disability Resources in St. Louis City, and Developmental Disability Resource Board of St. Charles, had heard a lot of, I guess not complaints, but heard a lot of feedback when they did their annual surveys in 2017 that individuals had difficulties knowing what services were out there and what services could benefit their son, daughter, niece, nephew, loved ones, or whoever they were caring for, and just wanted one centralized place that they could call and get the information about the resources that they wanted, not have to make, nothing's more frustrating than you call 5 places and then they give you 5 more numbers and 5 more numbers, and then you're nowhere closer to where you started from. So the purpose of it is to have one centralized number where an individual or family can call and say, I want to know where I can go for autism therapy, or I want to know, where I can go for counseling services. One of the biggest things that people need, especially right now during these tough times, is respite care. Where can they go for respite services, and how can they get approved? And with the regional center making cutbacks about 2 years ago, it's been even more difficult because a lot of people's case management has been taken away as well. So we do what we can to connect people. In a perfect world, there would be one number for every resource, but as we all know, we don't live in a perfect world. Things change, and especially right now, things are changing daily with different resources and school starting, and parents just, it's all new to them. They just don't know what to do. So our job is to give them a sense of security and help them get, if not solve their problem, get one step closer. Sometimes when there's barriers that present themselves, I will advocate for them and get them connected to the service. We don't actually do any case management. They're actually not allowed to know where we are, but we will do what we can to connect them to the service, get them to the right person, and not just give them a number and say, good luck, I hope they help you.
And I like how you phrased it. Good luck, I hope they help you, because that's what some of the agencies actually told me as well. Well, good luck with that. But I'm happy with the agencies that, were able to connect with me. It was more personalized. There's nothing like a personalized service, specifically when you are challenged. You have someone that you're already dealing with this challenge, and then you're trying to find things to overcome those barriers. And that's huge. The first thing you can do is be an advocate. I've become a huge advocate for my son for those reasons, because it is so many limitations that he has. Not limitations that he has, but there's so many different agencies. It's so hard to get into those agencies. It was limited to be able to get into those. But that being said, I guess what would be the main, when people call in, what would be the main thing that you could help them with as far as, you went over things perfectly, just kind of phrasing up in one sentence.
Okay. Well, one of the main things right now that people are calling in about is getting a Medicaid waiver for their kid, whether they be a kid or an adult, through the regional center. With that, there's not a whole lot that we can do because you're dealing with a state entity there. And so, but recently there's a new program out there called the Friends Program, and it's held up by a good friend of mine who helps people do that sort of thing, where they work with the regional center and be an advocate for them to try to get them one step closer to a waiver. Waivers, as for those that are in the disability community, are impossible to get right now. There's a wait list, and just based on an article that I read in the paper a couple weeks ago, it doesn't look like the wait list is dying down at all. So that's been the biggest challenge as far as what people call in. I know I had one of the things that I will advocate for. I had a mom that she was from India and her English wasn't that good, and she was trying to get SSI for her son. And if you've ever called an SSI, there's so many prompts and menus and this and that, and if people that aren't familiar with this, it's very difficult to try to get a live person over there, even with Medicaid. So, you know, I will help get somebody on the phone, do a 3-way call, get them on the phone with somebody, you know, like I did for that mother, and I got her an appointment to apply for SSI. Another example of where I advocated was for a grandma who has custody of her grandson. She's not, mom and dad are not around, and she's trying to keep her grandson, and her car broke down and she needs a car to take her grandson to doctor's appointments. So made a call to my contact at St. Vincent de Paul, and you know, they don't do it for everybody, but given that this was a special case, you know, they were able to help her out with a car, and she was very, very grateful. So things like that is more of what I can advocate for.
It really is a blessing. And those are the type of things too, when you do that, you feel empowered because you're able to actually, you know, use some of those things and your knowledge and your wisdom to actually help somebody. So
right.
I know that, you know, that always makes me feel like, okay, this has been a good day when I can go and advocate for somebody as well. And I love how you pointed out one of the biggest things people think about the parents, the moms and the dads, but people forget about the grandparents and caregivers for those children as well.
Exactly.
And they kind of get swept under the system. So I'm happy that you pointed that issue out as well, because that is something that I try to make knowledge of as well, because I love those over 60.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's one of my focal points.
And a lot of parents
start
planning ahead with that, because I tell parents that even when I worked in the community, you got to plan ahead. You know, unfortunately, you've taken care of them, but you're not going to live forever, and you need to kind of have plans in action.
Exactly.
So.
Right. And I know some parents, there's so much, it can be so overwhelming, but those things don't always come to them naturally. So it's good to have someone to be able to point out, okay, these are things that you're going to be looking at in the future, things that you need to take care of. These are different advocacy routes. And even I was going to mention here, there's another advocacy for parents who are looking into just advocating for your child, getting into the statewide Missouri Parent Advisory Committee. So statewide Community Parent Advisory Committee. They do discuss a lot of things that are going on with the regional office as far as the funding. At least you can make yourself more aware and advocate for your child. Those are, I thought I was just going to get up there and things were going to happen, but it shows you the legal process of everything, how slowly everything moves. We've been making so much gain, but it's taken forever to get those, the process to move. But there's so many advocacy routes that they do take, and you're able to know how to fill out those waivers, like you said before, the waivers for these special needs, for getting their child things in connection with like the trampolines and different things that they might need as far as the vests and weighted blankets, just those type of advocacy points. But just finding those different organizations to work with are always difficult, and more difficult just trying, especially now. But they are accepting applications. They're looking for people. They need voices. Nothing is going to happen without voices and putting those words into action. So I wanted to make sure we did touch on that, because like you said, you talk about the waivers, and that's the first point of contact that I'm aware of, as far as the regional office, and then them working together side by side. But I love talking to the regional office directors, not the case managers, but the directors, because they really are trying. Sometimes people don't realize, I didn't realize how hard they were working on their side to make things happen.
They do try.
Until I actually had to sit at a boardroom with them, and they're beating their head against the wall, they're trying to help us, and it's just, you don't get to see that. So that advocacy.
Yeah, they've got some good directors too. The city and the county do have. So
they really do. Now with their case managers, I won't always say this.
No, I'm not going to say anything either. I've even gotten calls from case managers. I mean, I hate to say it, but I've even gotten calls from case managers, and sometimes I wonder, how did you become a case manager?
How did you do that? Yeah, but for the directors, I'm happy I've been able to talk to them. They have really shown me a lot as far as eye-opening moments and different things that I can do on my side, and
Yeah.
to still continue to send those documentations in. And people who don't know how to send those in, like I said, keep get in contact with me. I would love to help you get onto the committees to help and empower others as well.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hold you too long, Randy,
Oh,
because I
you're
know
fine.
we're just getting off work. But did you want to bring up anything else? Did you want to talk about anything specifically? Because you answered all my questions, and I'm just so enthused that you were able to do
No,
that.
I think you covered everything. And, you know, if you do run into individuals or families, you can direct them to IDD help if they feel like they need any type of services. That's what we're here for. You know, we're not, you know, if I could wave a wand and get people what they wanted, great. I mean, I would, but, you know, we can at least get them a step closer to where they were before, whether or not we solved their problem in one phone call or not.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. But yeah, I am so blessed to the agencies. I think everything is personalized, so we can't just say, well, this agency is going to help you with this or that. But I would suggest any of the parents that have special needs children, especially given those with intellectual disabilities such as autism.
Do you have the number for the IDD help, or do you need me to give that to you again?
You can go ahead and say it now.
Okay, it's 1-877-256-2202, and I'll mention that our website is iddhelp.org. We just added this week actually a chat feature where they can chat online if they have trouble finding something or have trouble with the website. Some people don't like to use the phone. Some people aren't talkers on the phone, which I can understand. I'm not a big phone talker myself, but they also have. You can also send an email 24/7, and if you send the email will be answered within the hour. If you send it on at night or on the weekends, it'll be answered the next business day at 8 a.m. So you have three options: you can call, chat with me, or you can email. Those are the three options.
Sounds great. And I'm hoping that more parents will see this and respond to that as well, because it's an action call. Everybody has to make that a decision to, okay, you see yourself bumping your head against the wall, go ahead and just make the call to get the assistance. So I am just, again, happy that you're able to join me today. And
thanks for having me.
I'm happy you're here. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and post this into my group page probably in the next little bit as well. So but I want to make sure anything else, like I said, you have anything to say? If not, I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up for today.
All right, well, go. I know you just got off work. If you have any more questions or anything, feel free to let me know.
I sure will.
All right, you take care.